Hello and welcome to this week's platform meeting. It's September the 3rd, and we're getting closer to the end of the quarter. So let's have a look at our agenda, and I'm posting this into the channel as well on SUMO. All right, so the first item is action items from last week. We are still taking in roadmap items, so I think I've talked to most of you by now about that. But if I missed anyone, or if there is anything you would still like to bring to my attention, feel free to do that. And the earlier the better. And if you can start with that template there, that's even better. All right. Then, roundtable notes. I don't see anything in there. Is there anything that anybody wants to bring up last minute? If not, we can move on to our roadmap items. All right. So, roadmap items. The first one is Buddy Up, L10N, and RTL. So, I think we fixed the last issue for that this week. Yep, we did. And we're now waiting for our localizers to update the updated strings and for QA to file more bugs if necessary. I think we had two issues, and Mike, I wanted to ask you, did Freddie actually file them? I saw one of them that he filed and fixed at the same time about the date, but there was another bug that he wanted to file, and he had the information about that, so we let him file that, if you remember.
I think there was a bug that was unrelated to visualization that he filed.
Yes, it's about notifications.
Yeah, that one. I think he filed all the bugs that he talked about.
All right. Let's make sure that we have that at the top of our priority list. Oh, I can see that now. So I don't see that bug, but maybe no, I'm looking at all the bugs filed in the support was it on an org product in the last 3 days.
Okay. So I guess he didn't file something.
Yeah, so I'll ask Freddie to do that, but it's unrelated to L10N. So from the L10N point of view, we should actually be mostly done, assuming QA doesn't find anything else. And we just need the localizations from our localizers. So then we should be able to hand that over. I just got an update actually on that, on the RTL work. And the last word there is that the company that's going to do that, they haven't started yet, but they do have Buddy Up on their list. So once the work starts on their end, they will grab a copy of Buddy Up or get in touch with us. So our work will be done once we do the localization. And after that, unfortunately, we don't know how long it's going to take. But they told us that we should just sit back and not enjoy, but there is nothing else to do for us at the moment. Once they are ready for the RTL work, they will pick it up. I wish they had told us that earlier, so we would have known that we don't have that deadline as we had agreed on. But at least we're finished with the work, and we have done our part. All right, any questions, comments on that one? All right, so I'll write down one task for me. Next one is Unified Ask a Question page. So right now, that's our next highest priority. If you look at Edwin, and there are a bunch of things we want to fix before we actually turn it on. I think that's going to... Oh, Mike, you have a new icon on Edwin. I didn't recognize that was you.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No worries. Okay, so I was like, who's that? All right. Yeah, so and that's going to actually take us most of this week, and looking at the points, also part of next week. All right. Say about that. Now we move on to the next one, mobile article page. So there, the next step was to add the acceptance criteria, which I did, and Joni, I just did that today, so you didn't have the chance to review that.
I actually saw bugs filed, though. Okay.
So I filed a bug for every user story, and then added acceptance criteria to those. So if you go into the bug, you will see the acceptance criteria.
Okay.
One thing that we have to figure out, and we can try to do that in our sync up after this meeting, is what happens when you start searching, because we haven't defined that in our mockups. Right now, the search from the article is a traditional search. So you just type in your search query and then hit search. But we would have to decide whether we want to have incremental search on the article page, and how that changes the page, like once people start typing. We already have the part of like getting out of that mode, so I think it's a pretty straightforward decision, but we can talk about it afterwards and specify that in the acceptance criteria. So yeah, once Joni is happy with the acceptance criteria, Mike, we can have a look at the estimation for that on Monday maybe.
Yeah.
All right. And then we should be able to work on that next, like once we're done with the ask a question, or in parallel with that. Then we have the optimized product landing page, and as we said last week, we will give it 2 weeks. So we have given it 1 week, we're giving it another week, and then we are going to present results here. And depending on the results, we have different options of how to move forward. If we have a winner, we will just go ahead and implement that. If you don't have a winner, we can make a number of changes to the experiment and run another one. Now that we have everything in place, that should be actually fairly simple. So we will run variations until we actually either we find a winner, or we decide that we have to find out what is interfering, what has a bigger influence on the whole experiment. So those are the options that we have. All right, and that's the roadmap for this quarter. Any questions or any comments on those? All right. I don't see anything for specific bug discussions. If anybody has anything that they want to talk about, now is the chance for that. All right. And then,
Wait, I had a bit of a lag. Just a very quick question. So there is a community hardware initiative. I don't know if you heard about that. Has that ever arrived in anybody's inbox? No, don't worry about that. So generally the idea is, since we have so much hardware flying around and we're using quite a lot as a group of people working on things, we do have, we renew hardware as well every now and then. And there's this idea of actually refurbishing that and working with our most advanced contributors, those who are kind of working the hardest on making things work with Mozilla, to actually pass on the used hardware their way. So I was just thinking about doing something like this for some of our contributors, and chances are I'm going to ask you, because it kind of needs a kind of a sponsor or a person that would just say, okay, this person has been doing quite a lot of stuff for Mozilla in that particular area and so on. So I was thinking about some of our contributors to Kitsune, and I may be just writing an email to you and Mike, with Madalena included on that as well, just to kind of see if we could maybe give some stuff to our contributors.
That's a terrific idea. I think I already have somebody in mind, and yeah, let's start that program. That's really cool.
Yeah, I just found out about it randomly this week. I mean, randomly. I was informed by Ashikur, so thanks for that, because I didn't get any emails or anything. It's a wiki page. So I'll have more details soon, and I'll let you know by email. Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that update, Michal. It's really, yeah, I think that's a really good way to go about that. All right. Any other last minute discussions? Anything you want to talk about? Right. Just so you know, this is also a great place to bring up questions, like if something seems weird to you or you want to know about certain things. Maybe I can help, but maybe there are also other people on the call who can have a look into that. So this is also a great place to do that. One thing as a heads up, so at the next platform meeting, I would like to come up with a process for like how to actually get your stuff into Kitsune. I think we already have one, but it's an outdated process, so I would like to update that one and make sure that everybody knows if they have a pressing issue or they know that something is broken or they would like to try something out. What is the process of like, how do I get that into Kitsune? I would like to lay that out to make sure that everybody is aware of like what it actually is, and if there are flaws in that process, then we address those. Because the worst thing is to keep it opaque or like unknown, so that everybody has to speculate about like how do I get my stuff in there. So I'll present that next week, and we'll all have a chance to weigh in and start to kind of feedback on that one. It's like a request for comments at that point. All right. There's nothing else? That was our very short meeting for this week.
Joni and Mike, can we have a meeting in my room after this meeting? And Madalena and Vesper, if you want to join, that would be awesome too.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Take care, everyone.
To my room. Thanks for this awesome meeting that I didn't participate in.